I thought Bali underwear is a bit weird, so maybe I do a swimwear collection. Just a passion, hobby. I don't know. If you want to burn money, sure, go ahead. Oh, I love swimwear, loves bikinis. I should have my own brand. Yeah, it's easier.
So what's the verdict? If it was a quick answer, would you ever recommend anyone to start a swimwear business?
Today,
I would say that you're a man that needs no introduction.
okay,
But
that's nice.
if you were to introduce yourself, actually, how would you characterize yourself?
Well, foremost, obviously for this podcast, I'm a bikini designer, swimwear designer,
Okay.
who has been in the industry for 24 years.
Mhm.
Yeah, before I worked for an big American brand, and then doing my own, like you said, 21 years ago, and
Which is Nico.
which is Nico.
And previously you were with Victoria's Secret.
Exactly.
He's casual about it, but it's
No.
Victoria's Secret, and it's like, Did you ever watch the runway, the Victoria's Secret?
No. Unfortunately, I
Oh
wasn't.
my God,
no. I
Nico,
was
you
not
missed
even
out.
I was not even designer. I was assistant designer. So I was the guy who handed. There were seven fields, and I was in the assistant designer for seamless garments.
Mhm.
Yeah, and 2001. So for only 1 year. In
Oh, you
2001. Yeah, only 1
okay.
year at VS. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it must have been a wonderful 1 year.
Yes, of course. It's a beautiful beautiful company, but it's hard work.
Uh-huh.
They know that everybody wants to work for them,
Uh-huh.
so they can pick who they want, and whoever they pick
Mhm.
has to work hard. We wouldn't come out of the office till 11 o'clock at night. Just boom, 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 work, because if you don't work, the next person's just waiting for your job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you actually have very formal training for the work that you do now as a bikini designer, because you actually went for schooling specifically for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I studied fashion design in Florence, Italy, and then with a program with FIT, and then I would move to FIT, and in FIT, my last year, I specialized in intimate apparel. So you have a specialization last year, what you want to do. And I studied intimate apparel, which is underwear, swimwear, which is active sportswear, part of this. And I, at first, because also at Victoria's Secret, obviously I did underwear, seamless garments, and then why swimwear? I didn't start with swimwear right away. I did Nico. Actually, the first company was called Nico Intimo, which is basically then the underwear. We did underwear, sleepwear, and then when after the Bali bomb,
Okay.
I would come to Bali, actually through a friend who helped me. They have a big shopping mall here in Bali, and he said, Nico, why don't you put something in our mall?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Bali underwear is a bit weird, so maybe I do a swimwear collection, and that's how it started, doing swimwear.
From there,
Yeah.
From there on.
Yeah. From there.
Okay, so it's a confluence of like intentional studying, intentional learning, and also seems like a lot of fortunate meeting in the cross path that you have there with friends offering to have a space for you to
Exactly.
sell your brand.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was telling you earlier that I have this one piece of content on TikTok that I said, it's, if you get to watch this, that means it's a sign for you to perhaps move to Bali. And
Yeah.
the 3 businesses that I would recommend anybody can start or attempt to start is jewelry business, swimwear, and furniture. And so that's why I want to talk to you specifically about swimwear, because
Okay.
I got a lot of mixed feelings from the comment section. Indonesia netizen plus 62 itu
Yeah.
is like already saying, you're out of your mind, saying that swimwear is an easy business to break into. And of course, here to set me straight in terms of whether it's hard or easy is the man himself that has started the business and stayed in the business for 21 years.
Yeah.
So what's the verdict? If it was a quick answer, would you ever recommend anyone to start a swimwear business?
Today, no.
Okay.
Back then, yes.
Okay.
Today's just too much. I think it's too much, but I understand why they get into it. I totally understand, because it's more through social media. Because let's be honest, 50% of all people scroll through social media want to see girls in bikinis.
Okay.
And a lot of influencers who say want to start their own quote unquote fashion brand or whatnot, yeah, a lot of them want to do bikini. I understand that because it's interesting, it's fun. Just doing t-shirts or pants or is maybe not as fun as doing bikini, and it sells. I mean, it's a little bit sexual bikini, yeah. So of course, to show a girl in a bikini is much more attractive than have one with a t-shirt and not gym pants, but pants.
Right.
So I do understand why a lot of people jump on this bandwagon now. There's just a lot now, especially everybody has their own bikini brands. We, like you mentioned earlier, we do private label, so we do have a lot of people who say they want to have their own bikini brand. Can you produce for us? And we're like, oh, sure, of course, we can produce for them. So I understand where this is coming from, why people think like to start a bikini brand is a smart or easy idea. I think it's tough. That's why also we actually do a lot of resort wear now. We do other things because not everybody buys a bikini every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So even you, as the brand owner and a bikini designer, you are diversifying away from just selling bikinis.
I mean,
or swimwear in general.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we still do it because we have a name. We are more known for Nico swimwear. Nico is more known for our swimwear, even though when you go to our stores, half of it is not swimwear.
Yes.
So I happily do it. I just think it's a tough business. I think it's a tough business. Jewelry, I think jewelry is same. Furniture is same. I mean, these are all businesses that maybe a couple of years ago it was trending. Now I think it's just an oversupply, like anything, when people jump on the bandwagon and then it becomes too much, and then it regulates. Well, we talked earlier, the market will regulate itself.
Right.
Yeah.
So the man is setting me straight, saying that it's not that easy to break into these areas. But hear me out. The reason why I suggested particularly jewelry, for one, is because the artisans themselves in Ubud, in Chaluk, in Gianyar, Sukawati, they're here. People who come from all over the world, and decided to stay in Bali, and we've seen them do this, is that they have, even maybe they have zero jewelry background, are able to come up with a design or have some kind of idea, and then they find the supplier, and then it's about product market fit, and somehow they're able to channel that idea of a brand that they have and not necessarily sell them in Bali themselves, but because, when I used to live in Bali, we have a lot of other moms that, I was a parent, and I have a lot of other mom friends who did this. They set up businesses here, and starting with very little, where they started with a few pieces, like maybe 50 orders, very low MOQs, minimum order quantity, and they're able to find maybe a boutique in Belgium, like that, in Brussels, that would be interested in taking on their brand. And it's kind of this idea that you can start with very little quantity, and then in creating a design piece that you think would do well, and then testing that idea in social media, having that brand and marketing that, and seeing if there is in fact a demand, and then creating the purchase order. So it's not anyone's holding stock, which is different from swimwear. Swimwear, you can either create something and then say we have a purchase order on this, or you could go to some place like Nico and say we'll buy your overruns and rebrand them, and then we find the market for them, like in Mexico, Brazil, Florida, and we'll export them for you. Maybe not Florida these days because it's tricky with the tariffs, but you see what I mean?
I understand you, but I see when you compare jewelry and swimwear in Bali, silver, obviously they do it, like you said, they do it here, so you can have your own designs. You can, if you do 50, it's probably a box only, and you hand carry it. Swimwear, we import for example, and it's mostly like there's no swimwear fabric made in Indonesia. It either comes from China or ours come from Italy. So we would have to bring it in from Italy first, and then we manufacture it here.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little bit more expensive also when you compare jewelry. Of course, jewelry it's the value of the metal,
Right.
gold, silver.
Right.
But so the jewelry I understand, and girls, I mean, you can't have enough jewelry. Bikinis, it's a summer.
Girls cannot have enough jewelry. Did you hear the man? Okay. All right. Okay.
and so swimwear, you have to have beach, nice sun, swimming pool somewhere.
Yeah.
You cannot jewelry you can wear in the winter whenever you want to
Yeah.
wear jewelry. Swimwear is a little bit trickier, but I think that the whole swimwear is a little bit of a phenomenon, like I said before, with that Instagram or social media. So that compare the two, I think their jewelry, in my opinion, would be a little bit more of an obvious for Bali
Okay.
than swimwear is
Okay.
just because Bali is a holiday destination. Of course, swimwear makes
Right.
sense, but to export to in your own country is probably jewelry is probably easier. Having said that, there's still a lot who do swimwear, and for good reasons, because you can also sell online. You can sell
Right.
online through social media. So they would post themselves, and
Right.
then people would say, "Oh, I love this bikini. Can I have it?" And it's like, "Oh, it's my design."
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely okay, it's definitely niche, and it's definitely more falling in line of the hobby business probably
Yeah.
than it is somebody who wants to make this as their only primary source of income, which is probably sort of the criticism where people who say you're very light-handed when you said that people can move to Bali and have that business. Fair enough, I stand corrected. And I also say that I didn't say that everyone should start a business if they wanted to, because not everyone is suited for having a business. That's the other thing. There's an assumption that anybody can start a business. Well, yes, but it also whether you want to, because some people are not interested in being broke maybe for the first 6 months because while they're trying to figure out product market fit.
Yeah.
That none of their stuff is selling, or no one is making that purchase order because you haven't created the design or the portfolio, whether it's for jewelry, whether it's for furniture, whether it's for swimwear. Maybe your current designs are not attractive, and nobody really wants to.
But I think out of the three, I think definitely the most difficult one is furniture, just because of the size of the volume.
Right.
So swimwear and jewelry are obviously some, like you said, hobby, girls, mostly girls, obviously.
Right.
And they say, "Oh, I love swimwear, I love bikinis, I should have my own brand." It's easier said than actually done.
So, but yeah, the reason why I said furniture is because earlier we were also in this, we were talking about owning property in Bali.
Yeah.
That's now owning property, running a villa business in Bali, definitely not for anyone to start jumping into, definitely not in 2025, because the price of buying freehold, buying even leasehold, even if it's from a building that's already set up, it's not cheap. Okay, so that's not for everyone. But having said that, if you go to Bali, you see construction everywhere. So logically, even as you drive around the island, you see that there is going to be a lot of demand for furnishing these villas that are already being built.
Okay.
So the idea again, where I suggested go to Jepara, which is where the furniture are made, right? Even a company in Bali that sets up furniture, they get their furniture done in Jepara.
Yeah.
So then ask them, do you already have a catalog of things that you've already created, and then create a nice, beautiful catalog for a 2 to 3 bedroom, and set this up, and then advertise this, and see if you can find villa owners or future villa owners that would need to have their homes furnished. Do your kitchens need cabinets? Do your bedrooms need bedroom sets?
Yeah.
Do you need wood decks? As villa owners ourselves, we know this. It takes a lot to furnish, for example, this patio set that we have here, right? So could be done with making sure that you have the contact in Jepara and having a catalog and making sure that, again, it's on a purchase order basis, that you can furnish that. So that wasn't the idea that suddenly you're trying to compete with Leo Square, Leo Furniture, which is a very like long established 30 years in the business, in a very busy traffic area, like that's impossible to compete with. Not for you to have suddenly to have a showroom, which costs, I don't know, $1 million minimum to start such a business, but to have this idea of finding smaller clusters of villa complexes and say, do you need furnishing for your villas? And that takes some kind of business grit and business know-how. And that's definitely not someone's first time setting up a business, but that's definitely a business that somebody who knows already how to start up a business can do coming into Bali.
Yeah.
So that's why you see a lot of moms from Australia who move their families here and suddenly they become an interior designer overnight. You have to ask, how are they able to do it? Because there's so many options for them to accessories, collection, right?
Absolutely beautiful. There's a lot. I mean, I was, even for me, myself, when I drive from here to Ubud, you pass so many stores that sell either stone or tiles or antique poles, stuff that you will say, oh my God, I wish I would, I have this idea to build another villa and put this in there and put this in there. So, it's a lot of inspiration in Bali. Yeah. And on top of this, you can do a lot of things here that you couldn't do in Europe because of because of the weather, two, because of the regulations, because of the like a step has to be this high in here. You say, no, I want it
home inspector. And like,
yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, of course. So it gives you a lot of opportunity, gives you a lot of freedom, and it's rewarding.
You're speaking not about furniture, but you're speaking about villa building.
Villa building and interior design. When you say, I feel like more people, maybe interior design. I feel like it goes aligned with the jewelry, swimwear, and build furniture design. I think if you really make your own design, it's not as easy as just going to Jepara and looking at their catalog and then copying from their catalog. I think if you should design, then you need to really have your own design, because
yes and no. I mean, I see a lot of brands where they put together. It's a curation, right? A lot of the again, the reason why I feel it's not as difficult to set up things, because you can curate your own brand that says, I like that sort of seashell lamps design, and then you can design it a little bit more the way that you like it, and then in combination of a mirror in a certain way, and then the bohemian look for the throws, and you sort of put together kind of this lookbook, and that lookbook serves as the catalog. I'm not saying that it's super easy, but it's something that can be done. When nowadays, also for those putting together those things can be outsourced on Upwork or Fiverr, in terms of the people who actually, you as a bikini designer, you went to school for that. And some of us who don't have the time, the skill, the talent, as not as intentional as you had 30 years ago, could hire a designer these days much easier, and we have more access to designers around the world, at different price points.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and then you can hire somebody again to create the catalog if you're not talented with graphic design. If you're not talented, I'm just saying that it's so the opportunities are abundant.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree.
And even if somebody says, renting out a space in Bali costs hundreds of millions upfront. Yes, renting a space to set up a store. You have 9 stores in Bali, so he has the pain of having to pay rent and then buying land. So I'm sure you would agree with that statement. It's very expensive. But would it not be possible for somebody who sees a tattoo parlor somewhere and say, hey, would you like to have a small cabinet or small case where you showcase some silverware, some silver jewelry,
Yeah.
some necklace, some ring that would be really cool with some hand tattoos.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's so many different ways of like piggybacking of another store and saying, I mean, like now we know businesses, friends who have businesses that sell, let's say food or a coffee shop, but they sell it in a clothing store. And it's not really their own space, but they're renting out a little bit of that space from another business, right? And you can shout out to Uncle Nico if anybody wants to sell something inside Uncle Nico's Nine's fashion store. You know, maybe he starts selling some jewelry.
Yeah. We don't have jewelry yet.
See?
Yeah.
Hey Nico, do you
Yeah.
want to sell some jewelry?
Yeah,
I can supply you some jewelry.
Yeah, no,
See?
absolutely. It's a good idea. I think a lot of times it fails of people not being consistent or rolling with the punches or get bored fast. You know, a lot of people have this idea. They have an idea, and then, like you said, you know, once you go in the nitty gritty, what it needs, because it's not just I design a ring and that's it, but I need to source price points, market it, get people to see me or to see my product, position my product, give a backstory. What's my story? Why should I buy your ring? Why should I not buy somebody else's ring? What's my and what differentiates my design, my quality from any other designer? And then it gets boring, and they have a new idea, and after half a year, 1 year, they give it up, or you know, or they put it in somebody's store, and they say, oh, the first month I only sold 3 million for me, and I have to, you know, it's not enough. It's like, yeah, of course, it's tough. It's not, you're not gonna, you know, or you find, like you said, you find something out that's not my calling, but then roll with the punches. I think that's one thing I have learned, because we like I said, we started with underwear first, and it was just not as good as swimwear. Yeah, okay, we do go for swimwear. We go with swimwear. So I think that's definitely one thing that we have to keep in mind. Are we in it for the long run? What's the game plan here? Is it just a hobby? Do I just, if I make money, it's okay. If I don't make money, it's also not okay. Or do I say I'm going to take this serious? This is my main job. This is my calling. What is it? What's the plan here?
Yeah. So asking for the why a lot. So make sure that you answer a lot of these questions up front and really dig deep in terms of what it is that makes you motivated in terms of starting a business anywhere, not just in Bali. And I guess a lot of the criticism is also, please don't come to Bali anymore. It's overcrowded. Before this interview, you were saying like, oh my gosh, the traffic. This is a real problem in Bali, right? The overcrowding.
Yes, but don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say to anybody not to come to Bali. I'd love anybody to come to Bali. It's a magical place. I would just think maybe Bali needs to ask themselves, how do we grow? I think it's more a question for Bali. How can we become sustainable when it comes to pollution, when it comes to garbage disposal, when it comes to infrastructure, water, electricity, everything. I think it's more a question to Bali. You can't, because the tourists or start a business. When you say I'm going to do a villa, well, maybe not build the villa from wall to wall, from and 3 stories high, but have a little garden space, make the swimming pool not 2x4, but maybe a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Because there's an oversupply of these 2-bedroom villas, and the Bali itself. I think Bali. I'm a big fan of Nico Genze, that she says this is a Bali to stay. This is not a Bali just for a couple of years. We take out whatever we can, but let's make it sustainable. I mean, that's the word sustainability. That's, I think, is key. And the same with swimwear. You know, if you quickly want to say, I quickly want to make a buck, and the trend now is to swimwear, and then in 2 years you start something new. I think that's not the idea. But if that's your calling, then great, then go for it. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a confluence a lot of things. Is intentionality and also long-term planning that each one of us needs to ask. But also the question of other places in Indonesia. Somebody said, are other places outside of Bali that left behind? See, that's the thing.
It's a good
Other people
question.
are just rushing. It seems like, is Bali the only option?
Yeah.
I get it. Is somebody wanting to set up a business in Surabaya, or like, that's also another crowded place, but well, the furniture is all set up in Jepara. Like, are people rushing to move to Jepara or Semarang? What's the life like there? It's the kind of question that, well, maybe the rest of Indonesia doesn't have what's unique to Bali.
It's a very good question, and it's I mean, it's such a big country with so many islands, over 17,000 islands, and then this one island tends to be everybody drawn here. But of course, it becomes because of the culture, because of the heritage, because of everything that you have built over 100 years, since maybe after the Dutch, or even before that, Walter Spies or Charlie Chaplin, all these stories that old people came to Bali because they're drawn for this spirituality and the beauty of Bali. Well, not so much beauty of Bali, because other places are probably more beautiful than Bali. In terms of beaches and vegetation, but the culture is definitely what drew people in here. But in the long run, I think also again maybe the government, Indonesians have to Sumbawa, they're beautiful places, and also I think this is back to the government, because at the end of the day, governments or countries try to regulate. They're the ones who can regulate, who can make they give them incentives to go to other places or make I mean, they tried that with Lombok. It sort of like failed. They have an international airport there now, and Singigi, Kuta. It's slowly, but not to the rate as what Bali has achieved.
Specifically Lombok, the culture is very different than it is here in Bali. So they're very, they're just as equally welcoming to tourists, but it's just that it's different kind of culture, that the vibe is very different.
Yeah.
So, again, not everybody needs to move to Bali. People can, come and experience Bali just as a visitor. Not everybody needs to move to Bali and set up a business, because everybody can still, do other things. All fair points, But if you do want to do that, it's amazing of the different opportunities that are available here. Yes. And I think that's just so unique about the island. And it's accessibility, and I think it's more accessible to more people than many would think or many would like. And I guess we're a small content creator where we can't really answer all the problems, that policy issues that as big as like trash management, traffic management, city planning. We can't solve those policy issues in this one interview.
No, for sure. I understand. I'm not the guy who's an expert on this. Like I said, it's more about bikinis. I'm more about bikinis, but I see it. And I think we all see it, and I think we would love to, because we love our country, we love Indonesia, we love Bali, that we'd love to see that also something starts to be done in this area. But you're right, of course, we cannot change this.
Right. So, but thank you, Nico, for all those insights, and love having this podcast. And so you let us know in the comment section, if not bikini wear, what would you like to start up as a business? Not necessarily in Bali, if that's something that you'd like to start.
Tanya, I have a question to the end. So when you made this TikTok, so what was the comment? The comment was, are you
both pro and against. So
for they would say
yes, let's move to Bali. Let's learn to start up a business and maybe try this idea of everything based on a purchase order. Test the idea first. Is there any demand for what it is that we're trying to create? Because that's the first test, right? Create that catalog first secure your supplier.
Yeah, for sure.
In this case, if you'd like to do swimwear, it's no testing around. Pak
We
Nico,
can do that.
Bang Nico di sini siap untuk bikinin.
Yeah,
So
that's
you don't even have to design it, okay? You don't even have to choose the color.
No.
All right? Everything
We have people who come with a magazine that tear the page and they say, I want this. Yeah, of course.
Right?
It's not, this is how it's not. But
so it doesn't. It can even just with the simple idea, but then to test it. Is there a demand for the thing that I want to sell? And then it doesn't have to be a physical store in Bali. It could be something that's sold online. It could be something that's through Instagram. It could be something that's exported, because the data did suggest that it's still a huge market of exporting swimwear from Indonesia, from Bali. It's still a huge number that's being exported. So yes, it might be more expensive than to start a business in jewelry, for example, because of the imported materials. But that's the idea: is secure a supplier, test the idea, and then base that on a purchase order. So then you can manage your costs and expenses. Relatively easier than moving to Bali and trying to start a rental villa business. F&B, a lot of questions about F&B, which how many friends do we know that have started a restaurant and failed?
I have started a restaurant and I failed. Easy Cafe in Django. Yeah, 6 months. We lasted 6 months. It's very tough.
Did you even break even?
No. That's why we closed it. That's why we closed it. Even break even, I would have continued. No, because the staff, you need barista, and then the price points you compare with all the others. So you cannot go. It's just, and we even made it cheap because we had, I mean, our furniture, everything. We didn't spend a lot of money, but it's very tough. It's very tough. Yeah, restaurant is the toughest one.
F&B, everybody knows. It's like the question that I got the most was like, how about opening up a cafe in Bali? And I immediately say no. No, please.
I would not.
And it's only because I think in 1 year I had 6 friends that opened up a cafe, and 5 of them shut.
Yeah. No, I agree. 100%.
And that wasn't even an exaggeration. That was maybe even in an 8-month period, they didn't even survive 8 months.
Yeah, no.
So you yourself had that, burned your hand on that. So if you know what you're doing, and then maybe if you, 2 things. He's a living example. You have to know what you're doing, and sometimes it's also a little bit of luck.
100%. Luck, right? and passion and saying, and not to say, you're right, you don't need to spend a lot of money. That's the wrong approach, because I mean, we all know, keep your overheads low. At the end of the day, it's not how much turnover you make, it's the profit that counts. You can make $1 billion and have your overhead costs of 950 million. It's not a good business plan.
Right.
So keep your overheads low, and know what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, if you just a passion, hobby, I don't know. I mean, if you want to burn money, sure, go ahead. No issues there.
Right. Well, don't burn money. We don't want somebody to get confused with the message there. This is the internet. People
they will do it.
They're like, so burn money?
Nico says I should burn money.
That is not what he's saying. Okay. Okay, so be profitable. We want you to prosper and flourish. And I guess that's really the message there. I mean, there's an abundance of opportunity, but you do have to like it. You do have to be passionate in it. It helps, right? It helps to be passionate about something.
Have a plan, have a story. People love stories. People love why you're doing this. Why should I buy from you? What's your story? Like the same as your podcast, you like what you earlier told me about the story about your personal experiences. That's why you do the podcast. People like to hear that. That's what they want. And if you do a bikini brand, people want to say, why? Why did you? I mean, just because you like, just because. Well, the worst is I want to make money. That's the worst backstory.
I want to make money. Even though I have never worn a bikini. I have never worn a bikini in my life.
Don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, we don't recommend that.
You know, no. So get your facts straight, and yeah, good luck.
Thank you. All right. That's it for us. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.